Okay, so I want to kind of let you know where where I'm at on this Sony. So here's where we're at. So got a multimeter here. I want to show you what it's doing. I don't think it's supposed to be doing this. Right, so we see this multimeter over here, and it's just winding down, just discharging. So I hit power. I want to show you what the tone arm does. Tone arm goes to the base. You see the voltage is started out at about 0.9 volts, and it continues to drop. If I hit start, the tone arm will go to the middle. It'll come back and it will eventually find its way. It'll find the drop point, it'll drop, it'll play a record. In fact, it'll play this record all the way through. It'll play 2 or 3 sides, and then the turntable will stop working. There's a kind of a scratch on this test record. So I let this run through 2 or 3 test records. I still can't figure out what's going on, right? So this voltage just continues to drop, right? It's not, I don't believe it's supposed to do that, right? I don't think it's supposed to just keep dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping until the negatives. And I didn't see what it was when it stopped working, but I would imagine it just keeps dropping probably beyond, right, negative rail voltage is what I'm guessing. Because we got a positive 15 and a negative 15. So I'm guessing it just takes, probably an hour for it to do that of continuous play. It'll pick up at the end of the record just fine, right? It goes through all of the motions. So I'm going to move the camera up top. I'm going to show you the schematic and where I'm completely at a loss for where to go from here. And I'll tell you what I found on the schematic, what I've changed, what I've tested, what I've swapped out. And I think I'm going to have to put a pause right on this. So now we're into millivolts, and it just keeps dropping. So let me move the camera up top, and then I'll talk to you about the schematic and what I found and where I'm going to go next. But I'm gonna have to put this to the side because it's consumed too much of my time. Right? It's like a challenge. I just need to get this figured out, and I'm not really sure that I can at this point. Okay, so ignore this AdCom here. Going through a season of people blowing up their gear. It happens. So anyway, there will be a video on this. So here's where I'm at and what I've been doing. Right. So I went back into the tone arm, and I think I did shoot a video where I measured continuity of both coils. Right. The C503, 504, 505, and 506, and I have identical readings. Right, and I made sure that I had continuity, so there's nothing broken there, nothing broken that I can find, right? So green on the schematic is where voltages match the schematic, right? So I'm getting, or it's close. I'm supposed to have -4 on pin 2 and 3 of IC110. I'm getting -0.31. That's close enough. Right. I'm supposed to get 0 on 5 and 6. I'm getting 0 on 5 and 6. Now, suspecting IC110 as a problem integrated circuit, it has, I think, 4 of these chips. So I swapped out IC110 and I believe it was 112. Same result, right? I'm getting the same result. So where you see green, voltages match the schematic and or are stable, okay? Pin 7, according to the schematic on the 75, the 65, the alt scans for both, I'm supposed to get 2 volts there. I'm getting -1.3. That could be a typo, could be an error in the schematic, right? But it's steady. It's a steady -1.3. So I've highlighted in pink, right, where it's anomalous. The reading is not consistent with what the schematic says. So I tested C158. Right, it looks like a resistor, but it's a capacitor. It's exactly 0.022. I tested R256. It's exactly 330K, and these were pulled out, right? And I tested them. I've replaced Q126, right? So wherever you see green is good, wherever you see pink is bad. So on the base of Q126 is where this dropping voltage continues to happen. So I've traced the connections on Q126, right? I've tested 248. 248 is good. Q126 was replaced with a substitute transistor. No difference. Q123 was replaced with a transistor sub. No difference. So you can see where it's got this circuit that comes down, connects to this resistor off the base of Q126. I've got a D115. That's the Zener diode. I swapped out, it was supposed to be a 5.5. I had a 4.7 that I put in there just to be sure. No, the Zener is 116. No, it's this one. So I don't know, it's one of the two. Yeah, so anyway, both 116 and 115 has been replaced. One side of 116 is stable, right? And then the other side of 116 is not. So we've got this circuit here where the voltage is dropping. And I cannot figure out what is, if it's supposed to do that. I don't believe it is, right? I tested C154. It was a cap that I had replaced. It's good. It's stable on the ground side, but it's not stable on the side where this circuit is doing its thing. So I literally am at like a loss. I don't understand why it's dropping like that. If it's supposed to be dropping like that, I don't think it is, right? The second I hit power off, this thing shoots up to, and right now I've got a probe. That probe we're looking at is on, I think it's the anode side of 115. Yeah, I think it is. But either way, it'll shoot up to 2 volts and then it will discharge, right? It'll kind of bleed that voltage. So I don't know where to go. I don't understand if that dropping voltage is supposed to be there like that. I don't think it is, right? I don't understand the circuit. I don't understand the feedback, right? I don't understand if there's something way off over here that's not connected that's influencing this, because I cannot see anything else in this circuit. So that's where I'm at with the X75. Yeah, and the problem is there's no corporate knowledge out there on the internet. On the 65, when I was trying to work through that, I put out posts on Audio Karma and Vinyl Engine, no responses. So I just think no one knows what's going on with these circuits, right? So this is really frustrating me, because this should be, according to the schematic, should be positive, but it's negative. Again, these transistors were replaced. They were perfectly fine, but I replaced them anyway. The diodes, or the diodes here, 16 and 15, they read perfectly fine. I replaced them anyway. What else is going on here? I don't know. I don't know what would cause that voltage to drop, unless there's some kind of weird grounding issue. But I'm not seeing anything like that. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. I may put this out just to see if someone else has an idea. I may sit on this for a month and then come back and figure out what the heck is going on. But I have to put it to the side for a while and stop working on it. I did fix the feet, and I will shoot a short video on that. And it was just, honestly, I didn't put everything into the new plinth. What I did was I used some twist ties and some baking soda and super glue, and the feet are locked in now. So I'll explain to you what I did. I'll show you that in another segment when I get back to working on this. So, but for now, I need to go, and I'm just going to check to see what the voltage is. Yeah, it's so now it's stabilized. No, it didn't stabilize. It's just slowed down at like negative 21 millivolts, or no. Yeah, negative 22 millivolts, but it keeps dropping. So anyway, yep, I'm gonna stop shooting this video series for now, and I really need to get on some of this other work and figure out why people keep blowing their stuff up. So anyway, yeah, I'll probably end whatever segment this is, and then we'll pick it back up if I ever figure out what's going on with this. I have not considered calling an exorcist yet, but I'm pretty close because I think this thing might be like demon possessed. So anyway, I'll see you in whatever the next video or segment is. All right, it's been quite a while for the X75. This has sat for probably 2 months. And what I've opted to do, a supposedly working board popped up on eBay. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to transplant this working board into the turntable and just see what happens. Now, if this board works, then that just means that the problem still resides in this board. It could be one of the ICs or something like that. So I'm going to try that, see if it works. And then I'll come up with whatever I'm going to do from that point. And what I'm going to start out doing is I'm just going to transplant one wire at a time. I'm going to start from this side of the board, work this way, because this is where most of the wraps are. And then hopefully I'll get into a spot where, because this one will stay here, this one will be off to the side, and then I'll kind of shift that way and connect everything. And oh, that's interesting. I'm just looking at the differences between the boards. Some components are a little different. All right, so, and actually today's a Sunday, and I like to listen to music as I do this, and I can't really do that and record and show you this process of going wire by wire. So I'm going to pause and listen to the radio as I work on this, and then I'll come back when this is done. But you kind of understand what I'm going to be doing here. Just removing this one, popping in this one. Now, if by some miracle this one works again, I'll probably just pull the caps off of this and recap it using the capacitors I put in here. But, you know, that's wishful thinking. I totally suspect that I'm going to go through an hour or so worth of work, and I'm going to put this board in and it's going to do the same thing. But you never know. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised with what happens. So anyway, let me get to replacing that old board with the new. New board has been transplanted into the X75. And I can tell you I have really no expectations. I don't know what it's going to do. I guess I would assume it's not going to work. It may even do something crazier than it did before, but let's see what happens. Yep, doing the same thing, right? So I'm officially out of ideas on this thing. Let's see if I do start and move the arm over. It's still moving fast. Now I haven't adjusted the new board, so there's that. Just want to see what happens. So I'm just curious. I know it's going to fly back. I just want to see if it actually picks up. Boy, there's a short run out on that record. Not a lot of space. Yep. So what I may do is go through the adjustment procedures, but let's see if we do stop. Yeah, it flies right over. So again, I don't know what else there is to do. Don't know what else there is to do on this. This one might just be destined to be a manual table. But today was my day to work on my stuff, and I thought, well, I had this for a little bit, so I thought I would pop that out. Again, it's been a while, but what I'm thinking is I don't think any of my adjustments are going to slow down the speed of this arm. But I'm going to have to pull it up and see but I'm pretty sure the speed of the arm, yeah, I don't think any of the adjustments will actually do anything with that. But I'm gonna have to look at the manual and see, because I have completely forgot what those alignment procedures are. So I'm gonna pull the manual down, see if I can do any adjustments, adjust whatever I can, and then see what happens. All right, I'm going through the adjustment procedures on this, and I'm getting close with the new board. But the weird thing is I can get it to do it perfectly one time, and then it doesn't want to do it after that. And this time it's not going to do it perfectly, but the speed, and then it makes a liar out of me. I don't get this thing. And the alignment procedures are absolute I'll be honest with you. So here's what it's doing. So I can get the arm to move. See how it slows down and then it'll speed up a little bit. So there it's fast. And there it's slow. And there it's fast. And there it's slow. And there it's fast. I don't know. This thing is like possessed. So I'm adjusting the drop point variable resistor, and it seems to affect the speed of the arm. And now it won't do it. And I know I'm just like stabbing in the dark, but I can't make heads or tails of the damn manual. See how it was slow and then it sped up? And I don't understand what is influencing that. See, it hit and then it went fast. Now it could be the old caps on this old board, but there it's nice and slow. And there it's nice and slow. Now it might do it right this time. Let's hit stop and hit start. See, and then it goes fast again. So what I may end up doing is, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know I'm close. Now one thing I didn't do was clean these variable resistors, which I may do. But I've got them kind of dialed in, at least for the slit A and slit B adjustment. But see, and then it drifts, and but again I think I'm close. So if yeah, it's still going too fast. I'm bound and determined to get this thing working. So let me clean these variable resistors and see if that changes anything. Alright, clean the pots. I just had it going perfectly fine. Naturally, when I don't film it, it wants to work. Now it's going fast again. I'm hoping with a recap it'll come to its senses. I'm just watching the scope and trying to figure out why it keeps doing this fast, slow thing. I'm thinking the caps on this are old, so hopefully that'll get it, because I can't see. Now there's perfectly slow, but then it wants to slam back here fast. See, and there it's slow, and now it comes back and it's fast. And the reason I know it's fast when it comes back, because it slams into that. When it's working, see if I can get it to do it one time. Probably not. It hits that rest really slow. And it just keeps slamming into it. And there it's going crazy again. Man, this thing is just... It has not been cooperating with me at all today. And I know the service manual has a lot of waveforms at certain points, but I'll be honest with you, some of those points to test are really tough to get to. Yeah, this thing is just... So I'm hoping with a recap that speed will settle down. Because right now it doesn't want to be consistent with anything, so... The recap has been completed. So let's see what happens now. First, I want to move this powered on, and I want to check the movement of that arm. See, it's still moving fast, so... Okay. Waveform looks okay, but it's still not where it's supposed to be. And I'm going to adjust a couple of things, see if I can get that arm dialed in. Not holding out a lot of hope at this point, so. But what I have noticed is I'm just going to put this, I'm going to put this arm in position. Whoop. Okay. Okay, doesn't want to cooperate. What I'm trying to do is get this arm to stay still. I want to see if it drops directly down. There's a drop point adjustment, or not a drop point adjustment, but a drop adjustment. And when it drops, it will go either forward or backwards. And I want it to drop in the same spot. So what I do is I put it on the blank spot between two tracks. And right now it's hitting in the exact same spot. So that's good. Now what I have to do is hit the adjustment pot for the drop point on the record. And that's what seemed to affect the speed yesterday. I was working on this yesterday. So what I want to do is just swing this back and forth a couple times like I did previously. And see if I can get it to slow down. Probably not. All right, let me get this to where I started. Actually, let's try it this way. Okay, so it's dropping in the right spot, but this is where the other board was. And I'm just turning this variable resistor a little bit to see if I can get it to slow down. And it sure doesn't look like it's slowing down, does it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep playing with this, see if I can get it to do something that makes some sense. But it'll be boring just watching me kind of flip this back and forth for a while. So let me see what I can figure out. So I'm convinced it's possessed by the devil. So I'm going to put this away for a while again, because it's doing this thing where it'll go over really slow, drop, and then the next time it goes over really fast. Or it'll do this one time, see, then it changes speed, comes back slow. And the drop point adjustment doesn't seem to really be adjusting it. So I don't know. See, there it's really slow. And then it speeds up. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, transistor maybe. I did replace a couple of transistors on the other one. But they didn't change anything. So, then it just takes off bat out of hell. I don't understand. And it's not putting it in the right... I love it when that happens. We're not putting it in the right spot. So, try trying to get the... So let's see. So... Whoa, that was bad. Yeah, man, these are some dodgy turntables, which is unfortunate. These are really nice looking turntables, but I'm out of ideas on this. So I may do a couple more adjustments, just 15 minutes or so, then I've got to put this away, because I could just blow it up if it intentionally blow it up if it doesn't start working. So do a couple more adjustments. I'll either come back with a video where I've got it dialed in, or it sits for another couple months and I work on it again.